This is going back to one of our terms to know within the marketing field is geofencing. What is geofencing?
Oh, okay. I'm actually doing some geofencing ads for a client for next week. It's the SEMA show is next week. It's a big show that a lot of our clients are involved with. So one of the things that we do with regard to the SEMA show is we can actually create an area to market to that essentially is the Las Vegas Convention Center, where people are at that are attending the SEMA show. And we can run ads specifically, if you want to call it a fence, inside that fence. So we can fence off the Las Vegas Convention Center and run ads on Meta, Facebook, and Instagram inside of that fence. A couple reasons you might want to do that. Say you really want to make sure that people that are there stop by your booth, know where your booth is at, whatever. You may come up with a piece of creative that says, has some information and says, stop by our booth 57862 in the North Hall. And you may run that inside that fence for the hours that the show is going on. So unlike, doing a traditional ad where you might have like a 10 or a 15 minute, or a 15-mile radius or certain things like that, the way you set up the geography, a geofence would just be a matter of really honing in on a very specific spot and then just running advertising inside of that spot.
Yeah, this is the way that it has it's defined. And what I had is this is a digital marketing strategy that uses GPS or RFID to define a geographical boundary when a device enters or exits this area. A pre-program action triggers, such as a push notification, text, or an ad display. And it's funny, we were talking about editing videos. This, to me, immediately once you started talking, I didn't know what it was offhand, but this goes right back to, I think you had talked about marketing to like a stadium. And so it's no different than, like you said, the convention center. It's like a set spot. So it's one of those things where I was at like the Messi game and somebody could have been marketing like apparel or merchandise as far as Messi stuff to anybody that might have gone on the social media within that area. So,
or the restaurant across the street from the stadium and marketing and saying, hey, bring your ticket stub or proof that you attended the game and get 50% off a meal or something like that. So it's a really good way to use it. I know a lot of people we work with do set up booths and things like that at things like home shows and things of that nature. So you could, even if you have a booth there, you could tell people, you're there, tell them where you're at within the show. You could target that where that show is happening. If you're not at the show, but the people that you're sort of self-segmenting, people that are at the show might be people that you're trying to reach. So you can, even if you don't have a booth there, you can run ads during the duration of the show for people that are at the show, so that you maybe potentially are going to get some leads of people that were at the show, even if you don't have a booth that's there. So you can use geofencing in a variety of different ways. Obviously, like I said, we're working with a couple clients to do some different innovative things for the SEMA show, because that's a super large show and it's hard to get people's eyes, and the halls are extremely big. So unless you get somebody's attention and say, hey, I'm in the North Hall, this booth, and then somebody makes a point to say, hey, let's go over because I want to see this booth, sometimes you could be there and get overlooked by people. So it's a way to just sort of keep you in front of people while the show is going on to make sure they are thinking about you, that you're top of mind, and they're going to make a point to get over to your booth.
Yeah, no, I was just saying this makes sense for like a cars and coffee, whether you have like an expo show or a craft fair. I think that's one of those spots where you can utilize this because that there's going to be people at one spot. So definitely check into that and see if it helps you guys out.